Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a massive shift that's happening in workplaces all over the world. It's a transformation that's being powered by two huge forces: the absolute explosion of artificial intelligence and the arrival of Gen Z, the youngest generation in the office. So let's get into how this new dynamic is literally changing everything.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. For like decades, the way we've worked is that knowledge flows from the top down, right? The boss teaches the manager teaches the new hire. But what if, in a world being completely rewritten by AI, that old rigid structure is actually what's holding your company back? Because here's the thing, whether companies are ready for it or not, this change is already happening. A recent poll by IWG found that an incredible 66%, we're talking nearly two-thirds of Gen Z employees, are already helping their older colleagues figure out how to use AI. This isn't some future prediction, it's happening right now, in real time, in offices everywhere. Okay, so to really get why this is so important, we have to be super clear about one thing. AI is not just another app on your phone. It is a fundamental, ground-up shift in how work gets done. It's creating a brand new battlefield for businesses.
And you know, this technology can be a total game changer on a really personal level. Take Rob Lowe. He owns a small business called Zen-Z, and because he has dyslexia, just writing a simple social media post used to be a half-hour ordeal. But now, with ChatGPT, he can just speak his ideas and bam, it's a polished post. It completely leveled the playing field for him and unlocked a part of his business he never thought he could handle.
And the amazing part is, this kind of power isn't just for giant corporations anymore. It is so accessible. You don't need a huge budget. I mean, think about it. Tools like Jasper can write all your marketing emails, Tidio can automate 90% of your customer service, and Manitoul can sift through hundreds of resumes for you. The barrier to entry has just evaporated.
So the potential is obviously massive. But there's a problem. For a lot of senior leaders, it is just overwhelming. New research shows more than half of marketers feel totally swamped and don't even know where to begin. And that hesitation, it creates a huge bottleneck, leaving all that incredible potential just sitting there, unused.
And this is where the story gets really interesting, because this AI revolution isn't just about the tech itself. It's about the people using it. And that has created this fascinating new dynamic between the generations at work. So here's the key. Think of these two groups like two perfect puzzle pieces. On one side, you have senior leaders. They've got decades of real-world experience, they know how to think strategically, but they're often a bit hesitant about the new tech. On the other side, you have Gen Z. They're digital natives. They grew up with this stuff. It's second nature to them. But they often lack those soft skills and the business context that you can only get over time. Now, don't mistake that fluency for blind faith. A recent Gallup report found that while, 80% of Gen Z are using AI every single day, they're also its sharpest critics. Almost half of them are worried it's going to mess with their ability to think critically. And a lot of them are anxious that it's going to wipe out the very entry-level jobs they need to get a foot in the door. Okay, so we have this tension, right? Senior leaders who need AI but are nervous about it, and junior employees who are pros at AI but have their own worries and skill gaps. So what's the solution? Well, it turns out there's this really elegant, proven strategy that turns this whole gap into a massive advantage. It's called reverse mentoring, and the idea is just as cool as it sounds. You literally flip the traditional hierarchy on its head. In these formal programs, younger employees are actually paired up with senior leaders to teach them about the cutting edge of tech, social media, and culture. And let's be super clear, this isn't some new trendy fad. This idea has been around for decades, adapting with the times. I mean, way back in the late 90s, the legendary CEO of GE, Jack Welch, used this exact model to get his execs to understand the internet. Then in the 2010s, companies like Unilever used it to get a handle on diversity and inclusion. And today, it's being used for what might be its most important job yet: hacking AI adoption. But here's the real magic of this whole thing. It is not a one-way street. Not at all. It's a truly symbiotic relationship where everybody wins. You know, Mark Dixon, the CEO of IWG, he puts it perfectly here. It's a two-way street. Gen Z brings the how, that hands-on digital skill, and senior leaders provide the why, the years of industry knowledge and strategic vision to actually apply that technology in a way that matters. And when that exchange really happens, oh man, the benefits for the entire company are just massive. We're talking way beyond just learning a new app. This kind of collaboration speeds up a company's entire digital transformation. It sparks real innovation.
And it boosts retention because your younger employees finally feel heard and valued.
Let's look at a concrete example. Over at Unilever, they had a Gen Z mentor who was super passionate about sustainability. She suggested using new biodegradable packaging. The result? A 15% drop in packaging waste. That same mentor helped them rethink a marketing campaign, which led to a 20% jump in engagement with people her own age. That is a real, bottom-line business impact. So what this all really points to is a new blueprint for how companies can learn and grow. It's way less about hierarchy and much more about collaboration. And honestly, it's going to be essential for any company that wants to stick around. And this, right here, is probably the most important takeaway of all. The technology is just the catalyst. The real transformation is cultural. Reverse mentoring works because it creates what's called psychological safety, a space where a junior employee feels totally comfortable speaking up and even correcting an executive. It builds a culture where everyone is always learning, and where mutual respect is way more important than what it says on your business card. There's this quote that's been making the rounds, and it just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the urgency here. The threat isn't the AI. The threat is doing nothing. The teams that are going to win are the ones that learn how to work together across generations to use these tools. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In an age where entire fields of knowledge can change in a matter of months, not years, maybe the most important skill of all is just recognizing that the roles of teacher and student aren't fixed anymore. They're fluid. And the companies that thrive will be the ones that empower everyone to be a little bit of both.